everyone. Your host, Jeff Hostry. Welcome to Selves of Consciousness. Today's episode is on the gap, the space, which is a divine creation of intelligence. In the gap, in the space, we find inspiration, true meaning, and purpose of life, which exists in silence and stillness. In contrast to chaos and confusion, where we find non creation. So, when you tune in into a world of silence, when you change your inner world and have a shift in perspective, where you discover who you are or who you truly are, choosing your own thoughts, attracting opportunities from nowhere, not chasing anything, becoming more aware of your mental faculties, making time for yourself, listening to your inner self, and when you embrace the power of silence, you create space for miracles to happen. Everything is within you. So we must trust in the power of silence. We must begin to see things in a different way where we are learning, growing, and developing. So seeing things in abundance, seeing things not in lack, choosing to see the miracles in each moment, or being in a place of inspiration and joy, trusting in the journey of life, trusting in yourself, trusting in the silence, and the answer you seek will come when the time is right. Trusting in the natural way of how things are. Trusting in the silence, you will find the knowledge you seek. Trusting in your intuition and tune in to the needs of others. In a world where we rush, hustle and bustle, we need to cut through the noise, create a space for a different perspective, tapping into the powers within you and create your reality. So space is needed for silence, for your creative juices to flow. The gap, the space between where you are, which is your current state, and where you want to go, your desired state. You see that with clarity and purpose. So what happens in the gap? In the gap is the place where creativity happens. We know that. You are developing skills, your crafts, your talents, your mastery skills. You're learning, you're growing, you're becoming stronger and wiser. You're not going to close the gap by doing nothing, by being stagnated. Stagnation kills. So you have to be moving, flowing. You find tools to bridge or close the gap or the space. So you have to find ways and means, tools to close that gap. And that's another episode by itself. Living and creating our own realities and living in abundance. The goal is not to reach the end, but in the gap, in the silence, in the space, we need to find a spiritual life, build a spiritual life, which is essential to get rid of that illusion we live in and get yourself ready for the shift, returning to source. I've noticed that in between the gap, the space, creativity happens. There is creativity in that space, in that gap. You find silence. You're learning, you're growing, you're developing, you're becoming smarter, wiser, stronger. That's before arriving at your desired state, your goal. So it's very important to pay attention that if that time in between. So when you cherish and nourish the process, don't rush it. It will help you carry on with life, with your intention, giving it attention, and giving it intensity and frequency. Now, how you relate to the space around you? How do you relate to that space around you? The water, the air, the land, the soil, the people, the environment. Are you aware of your surroundings? In everything you do, are you aware of it? Are you present in the space around you? Do you pollute the air, the water, the land, the soil, the people, the environment, your thoughts? What do you put out there? Do you practice conscious living? When you're sitting cross legged in meditation, are you aware of the space within your space? Or even not in meditation, when you're just casually sitting. What does silence mean to you? Or better way to put this, what does silence mean spiritually? Quieting the mind to prepare for the transition that awaits us all. Being silent is more about entering a sacred place within yourself. When you are silent, an inner sanctuary opens and your mind calms down and is freed from the endless cycle of thinking, chattering, and restlessness. Why is silence important spiritually? It is important to create, to be creative, imaginative, innovative, to explore your inner powers, finding out who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, and where there are opportunities or any threats in your environment or within yourself. The universe, God, source, spirit, vibration, frequency, the field, is always whispering, bringing information to us via and through the quantum field. So we must be quiet in our minds to hear that hum. Being quiet allows us to hear the hum, the flow of life, the natural world. Allow us to see life unfolding. Silence is very important. Acknowledging or paying attention to your physical sensations and emotions. Do you feel anxious or calm? Do you feel fearful or safe? Experience the gifts of life. Give thanks to the existence. Being thankful, grateful, appreciative for this moment. The companion of the space, the spirit, air, darkness, death, of which we have no control of. A continuous cosmic dance to transcend fear and find inner peace. Eliminates distractions. Yes, silence is important. Silence allows me to eliminate external distractions, such as noise from the people talking, music, or other background noises. It creates a calm and peaceful environment that is conducive to creativity and focus. The space, the gap around us, is not void and empty, but rather filled with energy. Space is mind, and mind is space. Space do not cultivate a blank mind. The void, the space contains everything, good, bad, and the ugly. There are many spaces in life. Mind space, space is mind, mind is space. The space between your words is space consciousness. Visual space, the experience of space by an aware observer. Distance, cosmic distances, distance from the sun to the earth orbits, silent space, walking in nature, kayaking, you stop thinking, real silence, temporal space, facial space, tangible space, physical space called tangible spaces, non-physical intangible spaces, probability space, possibility space, sample space, outcome space, linear space. Linear space is a basic structure in incidence geometry. Outer space, for example, the sun, planets, stars, and the galaxies. Inner space, this is the space defined as being the area between Earth's surface and the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. Space between planets, space between celestial bodies, interplanetary space. Space between stars, galaxies, interstellar space, intergalactic space. Interval space is space between two pitches, the space between two individual pitches or tones. Space and gaps in between planetary rings, dust rings around planets. For example, between planets, you have circles or rings, and there appear to be gaps, a space between them. But these gaps, these rings around the planets, where these rings are colliding with each other, these are microscopic dust, very thin layers of dust, and they create new planets, new stars. So these rings, they're there in silence, in gaps, and their dust and their movement and motion, and they're creating, evolving, growing into a planet or a star. Same as with music. In music, there are gaps within the music, which creates the music. Musical space, interval between tones, the gap in music, the silence which makes the music. No gap, no music. Silent note is very important. If there are so many spaces and gaps in nature and in our universe, then there must be a reason for having balance in life to feel the magic between the music notes. The magic in the silence, in the music, and the space between your words is space consciousness, which allows you to create and experience joy, peace, and happiness. Within you, there is a built-in guidance system and an automatic creative mechanism to be used for creative ideas, reshaping the mind and realizing it's there for you, and you only need to change your perspective, your attitude toward it. Every cell in my body vibrates with a pure cosmic energy of creation, allowing me with the abundance of joy and perfect health. I surrender to the higher self. I let go to the process and let the higher mind do its thing. It's in good hands. It's just like your thought, your intent, your desire. When you put it into the quantum field, you know it's in good hands. It's in the process, it's being worked on. So you just leave it alone. Relax the mind. Be clear with your intention and belief, which is a representation of your higher passion. Have an intention. Be focused. Concentrate to bring an alternate or different perception. Bringing something invisible to be visible. Thank you for visiting Selves of Consciousness. Your host, Jeff Hoster. See you next time. Peace.